Today is the 6th day of Teves, Tav Shin Mem He. It corresponds to December the 30th, 1984. The sound that you hear in the background is the sound of Donnie snoring. We'll see you later, Daniel Yosef, after you wake up in Eretz Hashem. You know whose room this is? Donnie's and Aura's. And there's Aura's crib. I think Aura is sleeping. Let's see. I think she's getting up. She seems to be a little stuck. Aura. Ori. Aura Menucha. This guy, there you are. Let's get you into focus. There you are, Zizi. Are you just starting to wake up? Hey, delicious, lovely child. Darling Aura Menucha. Is your daddy? Hi. You gonna smile? Hi. Come on, don't just stand there. You can see me. I know you can see me. Smile. Come on. Or you can see me. Come on, smile. Hi. 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 You sweetie, there you go. Now you're smiling a little bit. Come on, darling. Smile. Come on, this guy. How about a little smile? Come on. Ori, what have you got on your arm? Did your mama put that on your arm so you wouldn't suck your thumb? Is that what that's for? Is that a thumb suck stopper? Yeah. Yes, it is, darling. Hi, lovely darling. Hi. You're lying there so peacefully. You're such a beautiful little girl. Hi. Hi. Ori Menuchi. Come on, give me a smile. Come on. Come on. Can you just give me a smile? Come on. Come on. Come on, little darling. Come on. Say, ooh. Say, ooh, ooh. Come on. Ooh. Say, ooh. Hey, how did you get sitting up? How did you get sitting up, little darling? You're sitting up in the corner of your crib, and you're all dressed up so beautifully. You have bright eyes. Everyone is going to think that you slept nicely. But you didn't sleep at all, did you? No, you didn't sleep at all. Ori, Ori, we love you, Ori, we love you, baby. We love you, Ziska. Are you sucking at your sock? Uh-huh. Are you just sucking at your sock, little girl? Would you like some music? Let's try the music. There you go, Ori. Your sock's off your hand, and your music is on. Are you happier now? What are you eating, little girl? Your dress. Eating your dress. Oh, I see. Who loves you, honey? Does Ayala, your sister, love you? She went away with Mom. And so did Adina, your old sister, your oldest sister. And Donnie, your brother, is sleeping next door. What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? Now you're lying down. You found a dolly. Are you happy now, sweetie? Hey? Let's put you on Donnie's bed and let you roll over and have fun, okay? There you are. Cleaned up. Your hair slicked back. Wow, you're adorable. Hi, Ori. Hi. Hi, sweetie pie. What a cough. Refuah Shlema. What are you chewing, Ori? What are you chewing, you little ziskite? Hey? What are you chewing, honey? Where did you go? I'm trying to get that funny angle. There you are. Now you're just lying down and taking it easy, right? You're adorable. You're lovely. You're a mitzvah girl. Or a menucha. Or a menucha. Or a menucha. Come on. Come on, Zizi, look at me. Ori. Who are you looking at now? What are you saying? Good girl, you rolled over so nicely. And you rolled back again. What a sweetie. Where are you going? Oh, you found the toy. I see, you did. There you are. That's what you found. That's good, Aura. I haven't seen you do that before. Play with your rings so much. Now you rolled over again, didn't you? Where are you going, little girl? Are you crawling? Hi. Hi, little Lori. Lori. Hi. You threw it away. Are you going to get it? Do you think you can get it? Come on, if you can get it, that's a little like crawling. Come on. Can you get it? Show us what stuff you're made out of. Come on, Aura. Come on. If you try for it, you'll get it. Yes? I mean it. Just try for it and you'll get it. You can do it. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Oh, you're so close. Lying down on the job and sucking your fingers, eh? Oh, come on. Lying down on the job and sucking your little thumb? Come on, Ari. Let's see you get that ring. Ori. Come on, Ori. Ora Manuch, I'm right over here. Come on. Turn to the rings and you'll see me too. Ora. Ora. Come on, Zizkite. Pick your little kepi up. Come on. Look over here, sweetheart. Come on. What are you doing? Are you sucking your thumb again? You little bummer. Here, Ori. That's a girl. Hooray for you. Hooray. That's where you are. That's where we are. Darling. Darling. Ora Menucha. Nutch. Nutch. Hey, Nutch. Nutch. Give a cook. Nutch, look over here. Orla. Ora Menucha. Come and look at Daddy. Come on. Look at your daddy. Come on. That's a girl. Hi. Hi. Hi, you sweetheart. Hi. Come on. Why so tired? Just because I wouldn't let you sleep? And I woke you up to take movies of you? Come on, darling. Let me see your pretty face. Come on. Come on, Ori. That's a girl. That's a girl. That's a little girl. Well, let's say goodbye for now, okay? Goodbye, everybody. You think you're going to sleep, Ori? I'll let you go to sleep. I'll let you go to sleep, sister. Good night. Good night. Here's another little sleepyhead. Danielle, you're still sleeping. I'll have to wait for you to wake up. Let's go out and take a look at what John is doing. Today is the day for the sod being put in. Wow, look at it all. It's a lot of fresh sod. Look at that. Not bad. Let's go downstairs and see. Well, there it is. Almost finished. 3944 Elm Avenue. From here we can see well the two huge evergreen trees. The brick flower beds. Of course, the herringbone pattern, 8-foot brick walkway. From this angle we can see nicely the garage.
Oh, yeah, bring me up in a real level.
There's Johnny.
I'm going in the TV, man.
Right.
Maybe from the Hollywood stuff.
6th day of ER. We said Kiddush Olvana last night. Here's a view of the deck from the side. Not painted yet. And the walkway along the side of the house with brick ribbons. To the front. Now there's a beautiful, cool breeze on December the 30th. Bright sunny day in California. And in with that wind wafted some of the smell of the clothes freshener from the laundry. The side of that garage should be restuccoed soon. Highlights. Well, it's still quite a mess, this garage, but it's drywalled. And here's a nice workbench Damien built. Along with double garage door. Well, some people will call me crazy, but I am insisting, and Johnny's very kindly acquiescing, to go along and pick up a strip of sod in order to put another sprinkler in the middle. That's what all the action's about right now over there. Who's that little girl? Who's that little girl looking at everything?
No, you can't go in the street.
No, no, no!
Here.
Well, I'm in the middle of filming Mr. Silverman.
Daddy will tell her what you can cross. She didn't want to get
And that
run over,
beautiful
Daddy.
hunk of metal there.
Could she come
Yes, that
across
beautiful orange hunk of metal is Mr. Silverman's newly acquired truck.
Oh, no, you're not putting that old thing on tape, are you?
Which old thing?
Oh, no.
Which old thing? You or the truck?
Oh.
Don't hurt Mr. Silverman.
It's got a real nice.
Everything looks very green and fresh and wet. And it's the end of December.
There, do you see how nice
Incredible.
the flower bed's fixed up?
Debbie, I have to admit that you're right. Flower beds do look nice, and that brick cap ties it together with the top of the sides of the steps very nicely, yes. Debbie, let me see Ori. Let me see little sweetheart. Johnny, Johnny, you see, we're never going to forget you for this. We're never going to forget you for this.
Yeah, you bet. Never. I will never forget you either.
And especially for this favor. We got it on film.
Oh, sure. Thanks a lot.
This? This, Daddy? Are you gonna tape this? You're taping it, and I'm gonna jump up and stick my tongue out. Look it.
Dean, let me see you.
I wanna watch that.
You can. Donnie and Iella. Donnie and Iella. Turn around. Iella. Can we focus better than that on Donnie? Let's see. There. Debbie, hi. Debbie, hi.
If you want me to help you, let me know.
Oh, the telephone's ringing.
Hey, why should this tongue be sticking out? No, I don't like that. Let's go for a run down the street there. Go on. Just as far as you like. Go ahead. Run. Keep running. Terrific. Hi. I think Adina's doing a little dance. Hi. Welcome, Mr. Silverman. Boy, you show up, at 3:45 on Sunday for a Shabbos appointment?
Yeah.
Oh, this is for next Shabbos, and you didn't want to be late. I understand. Whoa, poor Danny, come here. Come and sit with me. If you come closer, the sound's better.
Uh-huh.
All right, Ayala, what song did you learn at school about Hanukkah? Anything? Because you're the one I eat, you see. Very good. Everyone, young old wants these miracles to be
Are you taping that?
retold.
Wait, don't move me. Don't move me. I'm moving the picture if you move me here.
You know what's a good idea? A good idea is to swallow your cookie first and then sing.
Yeah, he's taping you doing that.
Well, it's still good advice.
This made a photo and the camera and our film.
It's on videotape and it goes on the television. It shows on the television right away. Take it right up to the show. Hey, come over here, Donnie. Come on. Come on. Come on closer.
I'm getting a cookie.
All right, I'll come closer.
Careful.
I'll come closer. No, I'm gonna grab you. No. Wait, I want to say something. Listen, I want to say something. I want to tell Mr. Silverman something. Do you remember when you were falling asleep, we were listening to a tape that was made 2 years ago when Donnie was just 2 years old, and his voice sounded just like Ayala's, right? What were you doing on the tape? Let me hear. What?
Not right, because I was just
I can't understand you. Can you please speak more clearly? You can't. Well, that's too bad. You're too young to speak more clearly. Donnie was listening to songs that he sang by himself. He was singing Wife and Pampered Chick. Want to hear? Wife and Pampered Chick, trying to fight it. How you sang it? You sang how you sang it. I don't remember. Right, like a little guy. Just like a little guy. I can't wait till Ori Manouchi comes out. I want her to be in the picture too. Anyway, we'll sing Wife and Pampered Chick. Ready? Here it goes. Wife and Pampered Chick, bent a fire in dem Stiebel is Eis. Dort sitzt da Rebele mit kleinen Kindern, lach und lernt alle Beis. Dort sitzt da Rebele mit kleinen Kindern, lach und lernt alle Beis. Sag schon nach amul, tage nach amul, was du lernst du. Der muss nicht von euch lernen, so der Baku.
Dad, look at the sprinklers.
Oh, look at the sprinklers now. Wow.
Are you happy now?
Cute. Now that is cute. Ora Manucha is smiling at the children.
Ayala wants to hold her for a minute.
Ayala, hold her. Oh, look at that.
Wait a minute, first Ayala.
Ayala.
Okay, now stop.
There he is again in his car.
No, let Ayala just move away. You didn't give her a proper turn. Okay, now it's Donnie's turn.
Okay, now you, Debbie,
Yeah.
you don't have any kids on
No, I'll pick them up.
Good, but a couple of weeks.
We have this on film now. He promises not to let any kids step on the lawn.
It's gonna be your,
2 weeks.
yeah, it's your duty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If anything happens, we're gonna get you.
Okay, good. Take me away from here.
Here we got a
if you can get me and
good
take me
close-up
somewhere
of
good, like Holly, like Hawaii or something,
Yeah.
then for sure.
Keep you away from this man, huh?
That's right. Keep away from everybody.
Let's have a close-up of this baby. This baby hardly got any pictures ever. Dean, I don't want to see the back of your face. Wow. She's
Baby.
cute in the sunlight.
Here.
Look at Johnny. There she is.
Hello. Do you have the picture of this?
It's easy. Well, you guys have been in first grade for a few months. You can't tell the difference between a shin and a sin.
It's you.
Unless you know that the shin has the dot on the
At the Hebrew
and the
Academy.
sin has the dot on the. I would like all the first graders to stand up where you are. Stand up right where you are. Stand, no, not on the chair. Not on the floor. You're going to behind the bench. No, stand behind the bench. It'll be too hard for you. You know what, because let's take a few. Behind the bench, Akiva, take a few of these up front. Okay, move here, move here. Right here. Spread out a little more so you can spread. We don't want to confuse them yet. No, that's why when the kids shin and sing, you turn away from the kids. Okay, everyone do a shin. Now remember, kids, shin stands for sit. Sit down. But of course, now that the first graders know their letters, you have to teach them some vowels, some nikudos. Now watch this. Please help me. You can all say it together if you know it. Go. Go. Don't go ahead of me. Go. 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 Repeat. What do you say to that? Not bad, huh? I think that's absolutely wonderful, but I think... Hold Sure. All right. Repeat, and I found a way to teach them that they'll remember forever. Forever? Watch this. You guys see if you can learn this. Okay, that's good. Old Red Say Ray had a sound. More time, let's try a different one. I'm going to mix it around. Old Red Colum had a sound. Old Red Kirrick had a sound. Old Red Cuckoos had a sound. Now, I'm not going to sing, you sing it with a ooh. And a ooh, 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 everywhere. Old Red Cuckoos has a, let's hear it. That was very good. Now, once, and it's wonderful, and at the end of that train, there's always a little red caboose. You mean it's like a final caboose? Yeah, the final caboose. In the middle, haven't you? No! But you've seen it at the end, haven't you? Oh. Now, boys and girls, let's sing it again, but every time we come to a final letter, we're going to give a toot. Are you ready? Get your horns ready. All right? So what you do is you slide in the first one, and you sound the second one by itself. Good, that's the way you read words that have two shots together. In Shema, you have a lot of them. You go, Beshiv, Techa, Naf, Shecha. But that's not all, because sometimes you have letters without vowels. Look at that. Rabbi. A dalet without a vowel. Rabbi, you can't, wait, you know because you've been in first grade, but many of the parents don't know that you know it. Rabbi, to understand a rule like this, you can't be 6, you have to be a detective to find missing nakudas. You bet. Look at that race just on now. Look at that. Most people read it Meshach because they can. Is there anyone here that's a good detective? Who are detectives in first grade? Let's call that girl there. What would you say? Where's that mem's vowel? On the top of the shin. You mean one dot does 2 jobs? You mean it tells you it's a shin and it's a cholam for the mem? Is she right? Help me. Let's try and read the first 3 words. Slowly. Ka. Next. Roach. Beautiful. But that's not all. There are other difficult rules. Let's see something like this. Now, this is a thing that I've even sometimes heard adults, when they weren't in our first grade, they didn't learn this rule right. This is a tricky one. Watch. If you have an oo, and then you have a yud after it, at the end of a word, it goes ooey. Who can do that? Raise your hand if you can do that. Can you do that? Join me. Let's try this row. Slowly. Ooey. child at a time. We're going to have a picture taken of that child with the teachers. The children will get... When I call your name... Let me try that again. When I call your name, come right up the steps and stand right by the candy in front of Rabbi Engel and myself. Eyal Cutler. Senator Egan. Now the second person I call should stay off the stage, but get ready. Stand. Okay? Stand. Go. Got it? Okay. Wait, Senator Egan for a second. Here. Okay, Senator Egan. Hold your stick like this. Okay, take a picture. Got it. Okay. Malka Charm. Kaya Bailiff Sahaba. Okay, you stay there for just a minute. Let's get a picture with Malka. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Some of you may notice that our aide, Mora Baila, is not here. She's on a Shabbaton with the high school girls. That's why she isn't here today. Okay, Malka? Okay. Sorry. 1 second. She looked up. You want to take that again? We take that again. That's Kaya Bale. That's it. Okay. Smile. To Kaya Bale at South Rosenblum. Now that you have learned your olive base, the Hebrew Academy Lubavitch is happy to present your first siddur to you as a gift. Treasure it. It is a very special siddur presented on 19th of Shvat, Yutes Shvat, by your teachers, M.Y. Engel, D. Grossman, rabbis, Principal Rabbi Y. Newman. And everyone says the same, so I won't read them all. David. Where's David? Okay, David, stand on the side. Okay, you got it? Stand on the side. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Eliezer. Okay, hold on 1 second. Eliezer on the side. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay? No, wait, hold it. 1, 2, 3.
He'll smile at Rabbi.
Okay, 1 second, Yoni. Love you, Huda. Okay, go. Oh, you know what? We should call their names out. Twitter will beautify it. 1, 2, 3, smile. Daphne Kashi. Yosef Uri Padua. 1, 2, 3. Wait.
Scroll.
One, two, three, smile. Yosef Uri Podwell. Shmuel Yitzhak Lovich. 1, 2, 3, smile. Arya Ostrowski. 1, 2, 3, watch it. Smile. Got it? Okay. Where's Arya Ostrowski? Get up. We're going to be davening in just a minute. Sarah Lerner. Got it. Okay, Mazel Tov. Her parents had their 18th anniversary yesterday. Mazel Tov. Got it? Yechiel Baruch Abraham Hoffman. Little guy, but a big name. Wait, Yechiel. Go. Smile. Nussin Tonkin. Where is he? Smile. Wait, Akiva Shooter. 1, 2, 3. Benjamin David Simpson. Where's Benjamin? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Achiezer Schusterman. Where's Achiezer? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Shmuel Margareta. Our class. Now he speaks English. Well, are you here? Okay. Where is parents? We got a response immediately. What change later? Yeah. Where's Mom? It's not Chana? It's Chava? It's Chava. See, she didn't know she had a Middle Hebrew name. Okay, 1 second. Rachel, Chana, take a picture. 1, 2, 3, smile. Got it. Okay. Yitzchak Topher. Yitzchak knows the teacher real well. His problem is his father's his teacher. Hold on to it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, give a smile. Come on. Take a nice smile. Take a nice smile. Take a nice smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Well, we'll give it to her when she comes back. Sharon Octavia Miller. Sharon Rechavia, where is it? Miles. Ellie Winkle, where is he? Smile. Connor of the Seagull. Ilana Kovadower. Is Abraham Weiss here? Avi Weiss has been ill all week and he isn't back yet. Adi. Daniel Adar. Avram Shlomo Hertzman, give him a special hand for acting as our little boy. We want to get someone not from the class. We couldn't find someone that wasn't showing up to do it, so he ended up doing it. Okay, got it. The entire first grade, please stand up and face your parents. Face your parents, and let's get a round of applause. Now, children, please have a seat. Sit down. Everyone have a seat. Turn around. Face your table. Turn around and face your table. 2, 3. Point with your finger.
Dr. Weltman's taking your picture. Smile.
That's a good one, Dvorlin.
You gonna say something to Doug to learn? Dr. Weltman.
Line 5, and it is line 5. In your brand new Sidorum, it is line 5. It has all the Nakutas. Parents may sing along with us for Adon Olam. Okay, children, we're going to go slowly, sing it nicely, and point. We're going slowly. Adon
Look at me.
Everyone, parents. Durham, page 46, doesn't... Boys and girls, put your left hand on your sitter and hold the place open. Put your yad yamin on your einayim. Shema Yisrael. Line again, top Baruch Shem Kivod Line 3. We're on line 3. I want to hear all the children. Tom, line 9. Line 10. We will continue on line 11 with V'haya Shema Tishmeu El Mitzvosai Anochi Mitzaveh Eschem Hayom Le'ahava Es Adon Elohim. Line 13. Ol Avdo B'chol Levavechem Ub'chol Nafshechem. We're waiting for the parents to sit down.
There's one thing that we programmed.
We only have a few minutes left to daven. Can I ask everyone to sit down?
Shoplifter, so, you know.
Children. This office this way. Parents, please be seated. Now, in our classroom, when we say Shemona Esrei, there is complete silence. The children all know that between Shema and Shemona Esrei, you are forbidden to speak. For us to daven our Shemona Esrei, that which we do of it, in complete silence. We are on page 50. We are on line 11. Feet together. Feet together, facing Mizrach. We are now standing before the King of all kings. 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3. 3 steps forward. 1, 2, 3. Follow right angle. Line 12. Baruch, bend your knees. Baruch. Atah, bend your head. Straighten up. Ado. Elo. Ve. Avo. Yom. Go. Mel. Chasadim. So. Konei. Akol. V'zocher. Chastei. Umei. Go. Livnei. V'nei. Atah, bend your head. Atah, straighten up. Ado. Mogain. Av. Atah, Gibor. Leo. Ado. Mechayev. Meisim. Rav Lehoshia. Children sit down. Parents will join us for Ein Lokeinu. Page 81, children. 81. We're gonna, since we're running about 3 or 4 minutes late, we're gonna start Ein Lokeinu as you're finding it. When you find it, find the place. Parents may join us. Ein Lokeinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kimalkeinu, Ein Kimashienu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kimalkeinu, Mi Kamashienu, Baruch Atasakum Terachem Zion, Ki Yisrael, Ki Yivamawei, Atahuai, Vela, Seinu Sheitiru, Leponefes Ketores Asami, party that they've never done in our class before. Some of them know. We did it on Friday because I told you we're going to teach it to you on Sunday. Some of you know, some of the first graders know the Oleinu from shul. We're going to start learning to sing the Oleinu in class tomorrow. But as I've told the first graders many times, kindergartners can sing these prayers. First graders are learning to read them. And we're going to go very slow only for this line, page 84, line 1, point to the place. Don't go ahead of me, even if you can. I know some of you can read it faster than I'm doing it. Point to the place. Aleinu l'shavei la'adon ha'kol la'seis gidu lo. Look at the place. Al-Tirami. Parents may join us. Umishalas. Utsuetzavesupan. Avelo yakum ki iman. V'yatzikna ani.
Welcome, everybody. Today is February the 17th, 1985.
That's when my birthday is.
That's right. Today is Adina's birthday party day. When's your real birthday?
February 11th.
February 11th. But your party's today. Now, Donnie and I have decided to put on a little show.
Where is it?
Right? Could you stand up for a second and show everybody
See,
that
this is
you're...
on February 19th.
First, see, we want to just look inside in the lens. See, we want to show everybody that he's dressed as a yeshiva boy. He has a nice yeshiva striped shirt, and he has suspenders, dark blue pants, and he wears his tzitzis out. Now,
Are you talking about it? Could the people hear it?
you'll see. We'll play it back. Have a seat. Now, Dad and Donnie are going to sing a song together. Okay, Don?
In harmony?
We're going to try some harmony. We're going to try some harmony.
Who's going to do the harmony?
You'll see. Just relax.
I bet
Okay,
you
Don,
like
would you like
know how to
Avinu
do
Malkeinu?
harmony. Then how was
Would you like Avinu Malkeinu?
I want Kiyam Chayenu. Kiyam Chayenu.
All right, we'll do Kiyam.
I know how to do
First
harmony
play it
in Kiyam Chayenu.
Hard.
Ilana knows how to do good,
Hard.
right? I know how to do harmony and you taught me.
Well, right now, Don and his dad are putting on a show. Maybe the children, the girls can later. Okay, Don. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. And look and see with the flashing light.
How could that light not on?
Look at the flashing light. or else look inside that
Adina.
lens. That's the best place to look. Now let's start singing. Ki him hai. Wait a minute, that's not a good way to sing.
There's two red buttons, one green button
Adina,
inside there.
if you speak anymore, you're in trouble.
I know.
Nice and loud. Now we'll do harmony. You start. Why did you do my part? Alright, we'll start again. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim, that was good. Do it again. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Haneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim, Asmanu tzedakah Okay, now what?
Push the words button.
No, don't push it yet. What's another one we can sing?
You can sing, what? Say it.
Oh, the Ani, how does that go?
No. Ani lefanecha, melechai v'kayam, le'elata tinishma, tifechem l'rava, emunasecha.
The other day, dear, I woke up singing.
Oh, every morning when I'm sleeping, I open up my eyes and say, thank you, Hashem, for my neshama and for giving me another day.
Hey, that's great. Why don't you guys come on over here and be in the movie? Come on. You can too, Don.
You don't know how to do it.
Okay, you can stay with me. Okay, sit down. Now look only in, don't look inside the TV.
Press the button.
We don't need to press it right now. Okay, now we have all three of you right inside the film. But look only inside this place here, okay? Does Sarah Malka want to be in it too? She doesn't? Well, let's just swing this over here a little bit like that.
Woo!
We got her anyway. Okay, ready?
Every morning when I'm sleeping, I open up my eyes and say, thank you, Hashem, for my
bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Hooray! Donnie.
Swimming pools, thank you for Alaska, and for buses, and for snowstorms that keep us home from school.
Hooray! That's very good. Now let's fade out. Wait, come on, you gotta press this button over here. Come here. Come on around here, Donnie. This fade out is going to be by Danielle Joseph Weltman. Press this gray button right here. And watch what happens. Your hand around your sister. Hey, Don, what are you doing? Donnie, what are you doing?
I didn't get pinched. I pinched myself.
All right, let's hear that song again. It wasn't bad.
Let's sing it again.
Don't.
Look at you.
Yeah, don't take a picture of me.
Why? So beautiful. We're slowly going away from the mama of the family.
Come on.
Wow, what a nice lamp. Look at that. Those tulip lamps and those fan blades, they're really nice.
Why don't you end Donnie's fighting with the girls here?
Donnie, look. Booby Lily is going to be watching this tape. And if she sees that you fight with the girls, you're going to be in very big
She's not
trouble.
going to send you $1 anymore for your...
No dollars, no nothing, and no love.
$5 for your birthday.
Okay, Dina, since it's your party, it's going to be your party today, I'd like you to say a few words to the camera. Look over here in the camera. Do not look in the TV. Look in the camera over here. Adina, look right over here. Look over here. That's it. A few words. Look in the camera here. Look at your daddy. Now I'll ask the questions,
It's
okay?
also Sarah's birthday.
Sarah's birthday. When is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah Malka's birthday.
19.
Really? When? How old are you, Sarah Malka?
9.
Wonderful.
You're celebrating it today, Sarah Malka?
What?
You're celebrating your birthday today?
Tonight. Till tomorrow.
Wow, isn't that wonderful?
Till tomorrow, you mean that you'll be up the whole night? Sleep over. I think so.
Wonderful. Now, I'm going to interview you, Adina. That means I'm going to ask you some questions. Now, we zoom in over here. Now, look right in the camera. In the camera, Dina.
I'm looking.
No, you're not. You're looking at the TV.
I'm not.
Look in the camera. That's it. Only in the Adina,
What?
only in the camera. Now, the first question is this. The first... No, you'll see that later. Look inside the camera. Now, the first question is, please state your full name.
Huh?
Please state your full name.
What?
What's your name?
Adina.
Adina what?
Tulsa.
Where do you live?
L.
Tell me your whole address.
I forgot it.
That's not too bright for a 7-year-old, is it? 30?
3944.
What? 3?
399. 3944 L. No,
L
4
what?
24
And what city do you live in?
California.
No, Long Beach. And what state?
California.
What country?
I don't know.
The
United States.
of
America.
what planet?
Earth.
Right.
No.
How many moons does your Earth have?
I don't know. One. Adina, we just learned about it.
That's right. Now, Adina, look over here at the flashing light.
I am.
No, look at the flashing light over here by the camera. Keep looking at the flashing light.
Don't tell me.
Now, I have a question for you. The question is, What school do you go to? Okay. What school do you go to? What is one of the most important mitzvahs that you like doing?
Huh? She didn't say the whole name. Because of her great-great-grandfather.
Because of her grandmother and father,
Not my
right?
great-grandfather.
Adina, name one mitzvah that you like to do. What?
Having friends over.
Why is having friends over a mitzvah?
Having the guests over.
Okay. Well, just having them over isn't enough. What do you have to be to them?
Good.
Right. Let's ask Miss Sarah Lerner whether she's being treated nicely.
What?
Are you being treated nicely by Adina?
Yeah.
Do you think she's fulfilling the mitzvah of Hachnasas Orchim?
Why do you have a black eye?
Good.
Why do you have a black eye? Why do you have a black eye?
Because my eye is looking in the camera.
What?
My eye is looking in the camera.
But it looks like you have a black
Now, the other birthday girl, Sarah Malka, we'll ask her a couple questions. What is a mitzvah that you like to do? Aha, what does that mean exactly?
Love your fellow Jew.
And how do you show that you love your fellow Jew?
By being very nice to them.
Aha. Is there anything that you did today that does that mitzvah? Did you do anything today that earned you that mitzvah?
I let my sister help me.
Oh,
With
she
what?
wanted to help you?
With what? I also asked her.
Now, did you have a little bit of a Yetzer Hara not to let her help you? Was there some Yetzer Hara telling you, really, Sarah, what do you, don't let her help you,
I don't know.
Wasn't there
I
anything
don't
that
know
was...
which one's a Yetzer Hara and which one's a, because it tells you not to. You know,
Sarah Malka just told you the answer. Did you hear it?
No. Because if says not to do something. Oh, let me help her. That means I will on my mouth facing.
If you hear the little voice say, probably you shouldn't do this mitzvah, then you know that that's the Yetzer Hara, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy, right? Who's that little cute girl with the bonnet on? What's that, Donnie? Let me hear.
The Yetzer Tov.
Tell me about the Yetzer Tov, Don.
No turn.
Yetzer Tov as the same does
Right. We have more questions. This time we have a question for Lonnie Dower. Lonnie, we have a question for you. I want to hear it.
I can hear.
Donnie, let go of your sister.
Ouch!
Question for Lonnie Dower is, name for me one mitzvah that was in the parsha. First of all, what was the name of the parsha this week? Children, children, everybody be quiet except for Lonnie Dower. Right, now tell me, what was one of the mitzvahs in Parshas Mishpatim?
There's no mitzvah, there's a law.
Right, well, mitzvahs are laws. Name one of the laws or mitzvahs that are in Parshas Mishpatim.
If somebody got into a fight and the other person kicks the other person's leg and he breaks his leg, the other person has to pay the damage. Half.
Very good.
Half. But if he doesn't...
No, hold it.
If he does it the third time, he has to pay all.
Dina, be quiet.
Ow! Sorry.
Debbie, have some help. Bless you. Whoever said half was wrong.
Why?
Because that's from a different
Adina, just
mitzvah.
sit down, and the main thing is not to talk until you're asked.
You have to pay the whole... If someone did damage to somebody else and hurt him and broke his leg, for
Donnie,
example,
if you don't get away, you won't celebrate the
then he has to pay all the damage. Now, you know what the damage...
That's what I said.
Lonnie got it right. Somebody said half and was wrong. Now, listen.
Sarah and Adina.
Listen.
Both differently then.
Do you know all the different types of damage that you have to pay? 5 different types of damage.
Money, kite,
Well, money for what, Don?
for hurting him.
Money for his pain? In other words, because he had pain from the broken leg, you have to pay him money for that?
No.
Right. That's the first of the 5. You have to pay for the pain. Sarah Lerner, what else do you think you have to pay for?
That when the cast. If he got a
The
cast.
cast, that's right. Because do doctors work for free?
No.
No, they charge money to put on a cast, right? So you have to pay for the doctor bills, right? That's the second of the 5 damages that you have to pay for. Does anybody else know another damage that you have to pay for? Sarah? Johnny?
What's the third paper? If he broke his leg and he can't go to work, you have to pay the money for him.
Oh, so let's say, for example, you did something to him, like Chas v'Shalom hurt his eyes and he couldn't see anymore, and then he couldn't go back to work. If he couldn't go back to work, he would lose lots of money, right? Now, there's two kinds of damages that come from that. One kind of damage that comes from that is during the time that his eye was getting better, he couldn't go back to work, right? So during that time, you have to pay for the money he lost. That's the third kind of damage. But, chas v'shalom, let's say a person was blinded and could never see again. Then he would never be able to go back to work at all, right? And in that case, you'd have to pay damages for that too, because he wouldn't be able to work again. Now those are, so far we have 4 different damages. The pain that he had, the doctor's bills, not being able to go back to work during the time that he's getting better, and perhaps not being able to see again. Is there anything else that you have to pay for? Everybody put up his hand real fast, but I don't know if you know. Let me give you a hint first, okay? The hint is this. Let's say somebody had to walk around with a cast for a while, and he went out and he was all dressed nicely, but he had this big cast on. Do you think he might feel embarrassed? Sarah Malka?
To take care of it.
Do you think he might feel embarrassed?
Yeah.
So what do you have to pay for? What's the 5th thing you have to pay for?
Well, if you're a doctor, he couldn't help them.
What do you mean?
But he could hardly help them because he would have to hop around and keep getting there.
That's true. But the 5th thing that you have to pay for is...
You have to be quiet when you raise your hand.
All right. Adina, what?
His embarrassment.
Exactly. You have to pay for his embarrassment. All those 5 things does the Torah make you pay for. The Torah is very, very careful to make sure that somebody has to pay for damage that he did. Because the Torah teaches us to be just, to do the right thing. Today is Purim, Tafshin Memhe. We bring you to the court of King Achashverosh. You will see him sitting in his throne, and beside him, his lovely wife, Queen Esther. King Achashverosh,
What?
is there something that you would like to tell everybody?
No. When I am the crown will come, oh, how happy I will be. I dress up in somebody clothes, and you won't know what me. I'll be busy all the day. Oh, guess what I will do? I'll be shut up my nose, so you and me and you.
Hooray! King Achashverosh.
That's clear. Yes, I told you. No, it's not loud.
It won't come up on the tape.
I said again something, Matt. Go on.
Start again. Wait. There's an airplane. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
So go loud now. King Start again. King Achash. No. He didn't have any pimples. She had many pimples. Oh, I didn't hear you. Start again from the beginning.
She had many pimples, 100 of each, and I kept showing it off. He got to let me, he said to his car, take her, I
She'll sing. Sing it now. King.
Okay.
One.
I don't like this. Let me taste it.
Sing it now, Leon. Leon?
Yummy.
Leon, just sing this.
Okay.
Now.
Peanut, marshmallows, mangoes, grapefruit, and color red, plastic to come. We have any purple.
You know what? It's not good to sing when you have food in your mouth. So why don't you swallow? I'll show you what you're going to do in a minute. Sit down in your place. Ayala, why don't you just finish eating the chocolate that's in your mouth, and then you'll sing the song. Now let me tell you what we're going to do. Mom is going to be the king's helper, and she brings the crown on a special royal pillow. Do you want to see that?
Yeah.
Do you see the pillow? And do you see the golden crown? Now that crown is going to be Ayala's crown, Queen Esther's crown, okay? So, after King Ahasuerus chooses Esther to be his queen, King Ahasuerus himself will place the golden royal crown on her head and make her queen. Understand? Donnie? Okay. Do you understand, Ayala? You're not listening. Okay, now, Ayala, I want you to sing the song now, and then we'll have the crown brought to you. Okay, y'all. Sing. King Wait. Do you have... Wait, let me understand. Do you have a new chocolate in your mouth now? Okay, you can't sing that. Okay. Donnie, you'll sing it again.
King Ahasuerus made a great feast. He told his red party to come. Tried hands and pickles, 100 at least. Said I can't join in our fun.
No. Donnie, that's not good singing. Don't go.
I don't have any more.
Listen, instead of the word...
I don't have any more.
Okay, you'll sing in a minute. Say, and said, I can't join in your fun.
Okay, let him finish.
So we can hear all the words, right?
The king got so angry, he said to his gods, take her, I don't want her, she's mean. And from over maidens, that sure shall tell him, Esther became his new queen.
Okay, we're ready for you, Yella.
Go on, sing.
Come on, Esther, make
No, it's from the king.
No, we'll have to stop. I don't want screaming, I want singing. No. It's not... What did the king say? The king got so... She's what? What is she? Mean? She's mean?
Daddy, you know what? Daddy, not to kick on the floor.
Okay, please don't kick on the floor, Yella. Say that part about her being mean. Say, the king was so angry. Take her. Song. From all of the maidens in Shushan town, Esther became the new queen. You are now looking at Queen Esther, or Esther before she became the queen. Now King Ahasuerus, sitting in his throne, he's sitting in his throne. He takes a look down, and what does he see on the pillow? A golden crown. Oh yes, he wants to sit with the scepter. Very good. He takes a look down, and what does he see? A golden crown, right? And he takes a look over and he sees that the queen's throne is empty. There's no one sitting in the queen's throne because Vashti was gotten rid of, right? Okay, now, the king rises, stands up, and he bends down and picks up the crown. Oh, you want it? Okay, hold it to her. And you touch it. See, there, Esther's touching it. And now he rises. He picks up the crown. The queen is coronated, presenting the new Queen Esther. Presenting the happy royal couple. Now the song, When the Yom Tov Purim comes. Let's go. Very good. No, isn't there another one of the Purim songs that we know?
No.
Deb, are there any more from school? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yals, would you like to do that one? Chag Purim?
What are you filming? Still that stage?
Goodbye. And happy Purim. Hi, Ori. Now, David Goldreich is here. And we're taking these shots of Ora Menucha because David Goldreich is going to bring back the video cassette tape to Toronto.
Take Mom down.
Huh?
Yeah.
She wanted to say something bad, but she knows she's on tape. Hi, let me take a close-up of those teeth. Incredible. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, count them. Count the ones out.
Now go on. Yeah, take it.
Who's that? Who's that?
Take it. Take Donnie.
There she is. Here, let's go down here. Don, watch out. We're going to take a picture of her crawling. Now, here she is. Ora Menucha. She even says Dada. Come on, Ora. Dean, can you remove your little feet? Ora, come on, do something nice for your booby. She's talking. Children, I want you to... Adina, you two, be quiet. I want to hear her.
She saved herself.
Children, I want you to please be quiet. I want to hear what she says.
Okay, sit here, Mom. Sit here. Yeah. Mommy, sit here.
She sees herself on television. What do you have to say, Ori?
What do you have to say? Oh, two Oras. Two Oras do the same thing.
Hi, Ori. Say Dada. Come on, say Dada. Say Dada.
What is that?
See her crawl. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she has been crawling for approximately 1 month. I mean, one week. What are you going to do, stand up for her? crawl. Notice also the beautiful floor coverings. They're specially made to cause splinters in babies' knees. Ori! Ori! It's okay, don't say that to him.
You don't have to be so excited, okay? Just get in here.
Okay. Ori, look at the way she sits up. Isn't that nice?
She's being good to you. She's petting you.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, come on.
He's shy. Isn't that cute, ladies and gentlemen? All right. We'll relieve him of his unfair to juxtapose this beautiful little baby with the ugly monster you just saw in the last scene. I mean, who could compare? Beauty and the Beast. What are you looking at? Hey, she's mocking hi. She's mocking hi bye. Hi bye back to her. Go on. Wave. Wave to her. She is. She's responding. You're so cute, Ori. You really are. Okay, come on, do your stuff. Crawl. Come on. What have you got there? What do you have there, little girl? Nothing now.
Yeah.
Come on to Mom and Dad, come on. Dad, would you take a picture of me too, please?
Now, this is Weltman with her hairstylist.
Hi, Toronto, how are you? It's great to be able to communicate with you like this. I have in my hands here a very lovely young lady. She does dancing. Would you like to see her dance?
Yeah.
Would you like to, please, a little bit on the feet. Okay, here we go. I'd like a nice song in the background, like, no, that's faster. No. Far over. That was it. Children, if you stand over there, she'll look at you. Come on. Keishli Abdi. Debbie, go a little lower so you don't get that window in the back. When the window's in the back, the light gets worse on us.
Don't always chop off your head.
It's all right. Just get under. Okay, there, the light's much better. Okay. Okay. Ready to conduct? Aman, Sherbi Keishli Abdi. Baruch Mordechai, Baruch Mordechai, Baruch Mordechai, Bali, Baruch Mordechai, Baruch Mordechai, Baruch Mordechai, Bali. Bigam, Aurora Zeresh, Eishes Machidi. Aurora Zeresh, Eishes Machidi. That's me and Ora. Brucha Esther, Brucha Esther, Brucha Esther, Bali, Brucha Esther, Brucha Esther, Brucha Esther, Bali. She's singing. Okay, go for a little walk. Here, come to me. Ori, come to me. Come on. Come on. Come on, Ziska, come to me.
I know how to get it. Oh,
Come on. Baby. Laura. Oh boy, here you come.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We've got fun, we've got freedom, we've got joy.
Zook, bye-bye.
Mach bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mach bye-bye. Here, I'll let you, when you press the thing now, it'll fade out.
Bye-bye.
Mach bye-bye. Ori, take a nice close-up of her face and fade out. Mach bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now today is the 4th day of Chol HaMoed Pesach, Tav Shein Mem Hey. You're looking at Tuti. She's getting her hair braided.
Look at this. Watch this, Tina. All right, shut that. Look at that, you. I can love it. Okay, what's that, Tina? Come out.
Don, your face is kind of dirty. Did you just eat some yogurt?
Yeah.
What do you have in your hand there? Does it really shoot?
Yeah.
Let's have a close-up picture of that gun. Where did you get this gun, Donnie? Where'd you get it? Where did it come from?
Pick and
Does it shoot real bullets?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, Debbie.
Shoot it. Shoot it.
Putting it as hard as
You're pushing it, it's not going?
Yeah. It's still dead.
If I can.
Daddy?
Terrific shot.
Okay, I'm in the movie. I'm ready, Dad.
It's so miserable, Dad. Obviously, it's not even.
Woo.
That's because it's not working. Come on, Aura. Bobby, can we watch that?
One piece of cheese done?
Danny's not letting me shoot the gun.
Forget it. Just take him the whole time. I'm not waiting here anymore. I'm a young person. Do you want to take it or not? Then take it.
Daddy, I'm ready to fire. Okay, fire. I'm ready to fire, Dad. Daddy, could I fire it? There's a screw pull over here.
Ask him to sit down. So get rid of your...
Smile, Aura. Aura. I'm ready, Dad. I'm ready to do the gun one more time.
Okay, just a minute. We're taking Ori now.
Daddy, I'm not gonna do it on the camera.
Go ahead.
Leave her on the grass, Dina.
Now what's to go?
Whenever you're ready, you let me know.
You like that cheese.
And then fire!
Oh, boy.
You're going to go out now. You're not going to eat till you come back?
Now it's gonna rest.
Come on, Donnie. Donnie.
Where? Daddy, are we going to the Bixby house? Are we going to the Bixby house?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, let's go. Could we go? Already. Look, help me, Adiza. Okay. Start pedaling. Pedal. Come on, pedal.
Can't go all that way with the bike.
Then let's put it in the car and drive. Can we go to Shoreline Village?
Don, turn your bike around and do it the other way.
Aga, could we go to Shoreline
No.
Why not?
Yali,
No.
let me see you drive your bike. Can you drive your bike, Yali? I'm coming. Go to the front. Go to the front. Don, ride your bike. Don, ride your bike. I want to take a movie. Ride your bike. I want to take a movie of it. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. How about zooming up and down the street? How about zooming up and down the street? Okay, let me see you. No.
Which way is it?
That way that I'm pointing to, around there. But we're not going by bike to the Bixby house. We'll go by car.
Oh, then I will ride the bike. There's the Bixby house there. Let's go to the Bixby house now. Let's go to the Bixby house already. Are we going to Disneyland, Abba? Abba, are we going to Disneyland? Abba, are we
Go
going
down there again and show me the hubcap. Please show me it.
Let's go now.
We're gonna go in a few minutes. Just tell me, where did we get that hubcap? Where did we get it?
It came with the car.
But didn't we go somewhere yesterday?
Yeah.
What was that about? Turn to me and tell me.
Little hubcap store.
Turn to me and tell me. How much did it cost?
Little hubcap store.
How much did it cost?
$40.
No, that's how much the first store wanted. How much did the second store want?
$8.
Look at me.
$8.
No. 20.
When? Daddy,
Yes, darling.
can you help me?
You push it yourself. I want to see how strong you are.
I can't.
All right, then. I just won't take a movie of you. I'll take it of other people, okay?
Daddy.
Go ahead and ride it, Dean. Dina, where are you going? Tulti?
Holding that looking tail. Kijk dit erin nog meer.
Tulti, run to me. Let me see you run. Good girl. Run to me. Run to me. Tara.
Shoot me, okay? You can shoot me if you want. Hey, Daddy. You shoot me, shoot me. Gotta go. Daddy, can you push this?
Yes, I will, Donnie.
Push it now.
Wait a second. Look who's coming here. What's the matter, Yoli?
Daddy, push this down.
Okay, we'll put it on you.
Down. Daddy, push this thing down.
Yes, I can do that for you. Give it to me in my hand.
Push the...
You want me to load this up for you? Okay, here you go. And it's all loaded. Go over and I'll take a picture of you shooting, okay?
Over here?
Sure. What's the matter? I'm ready to take it.
It's not doing.
It's not.
No. What? See that because this is a string. Tony, can I play with your bike now? No. We're not. Oh, but you won't let me. Don't film me.
Hey, I see you got it.
There's a fly. There's a fly.
A fly? Yeah, dead fly, right.
Don't step on it. Don't step.
The National Socialist Party was... It came from a concentration camp. A waste ringed with barbed wire and overlooked by watchtowers. Coming in from the flowering countryside, in spite of the frightful smell, things didn't seem so bad at first. Children smiled through the barbed wire, and women laughed and waved their hands. But Belsen Camp was vast, and inside was a different story. They had not eaten for 6 days, and every soldier's stock of food was called into use. Water, too, had been cut off, and so the water cart was the most important thing to arrive. Most of the people seemed to be listless beyond hope and astonishment. Hunger had probably affected them that way. We discovered that among this stench of disease and decay was something a bit worse than hunger. Moving vaguely on rickety skeleton legs, they were too ill to eat. How grateful they were for a kindly word or gesture. What misery to live amongst such unmentionable filth, with scarcely the strength to pick the lice which inevitably swarmed over them. They seemed accustomed to the smell and the horror. They had seen all there was to see. Huts were almost impossible to go near. They were full of tangled masses of people who had died slowly and painfully of starvation and disease, writhing in agony, helpless in puddles of excrement. It was difficult to imagine those orchards now, those rich fields where the stolid cattle cropped the juicy grass. For here, a few minutes away, inside the barbed wire, was nothing but filth and death. Dead prisoners hurled out and stacked in twisted heaps. Dead women like marble statues in the mire. This was what these inmates had to live among and die among. The dead which lay there were not numbered in hundreds, but in thousands. Not 1 or 2,000, but 30,000. Here is a pit where the inmates, in order to earn food, had to drag the bodies of their comrades, but they were too weak to keep up with the rate at which they were dying. So the pit remains only half filled. The SS guards in charge of the camp were captured and lined up for examination. Their papers were gone through to confirm their status, their authority, each with his death's head badge, each justified by German law. They were unashamed, well-fed, well-dressed and cheerful. There were women also on guard in Belsen, volunteers who came of their own free will to do their bit. Not sickly pale with hollow faces and hungry eyes, but well-fed and well-kept with a strutting arrogance. The commandant of the camp, Joseph Kramer, was removed for trial as a war criminal by an Allied military court. There was an urgent need to get rid of as many bodies as possible, as quickly as possible, so all the SS were set to work. 500 Hungarian troops, captured with the SS, were started on a grave-digging operation. The SS themselves were made to do the unpleasant job they had forced the inmates to do. This, after all, was nothing to these men. They, the master race, had been taught to be hard. They could kill in cold blood, and it seemed to the British soldier fit and proper that the killers should bury the nameless, hopeless creatures they had starved to death. The faces of the bystanders showed just a little of the hate that Germany has inspired, and some of the anguish, too. Meanwhile, back at the camp, those who were still living were being attended to. Supplies of hot soup were prepared, and those who could eat unaided were fed as quickly as possible. There had been no water supply for 6 days. The Germans pleaded it had been cut. We laid on water in a few hours, and before 12 hours had passed, had sufficient to enable them to wash. Soap was provided, the first they had seen for months, and an orgy of washing ensued. A mobile bath unit was set up and provided hot water for baths. Inmates thought there was a stag at first, expected to be beaten for going near it, probably. But when they learned that the dream was true, hot water. And these are the people the Nazis said delighted in being dirty. But the job of clearing up Belsen was a big one. The burgomeisters and civil officials of the neighborhood were brought to witness the scenes that had been caused as part of the Nazi scheme of things. This is not what they expected. It had been happening for years. But they shrugged their shoulders and beat their brows and tried to say it had been none of their business. But they were mostly silent. The SS men are not so spick and span now. 7 days of being shouted and cursed at and handling corpses by the hundred are beginning to tell. After 7 dreadful days, the funerals still go on. There seems to be no end.
Ich heiße Dr. Fritz Klein, bin Arzt seit 1,5 Jahren in Konzentrationslagern, bin geboren am 24. November 88, also 58 Jahre alt, Deutscher aus Rumänien und spreche heute am 24. April 1945.
They were given an address by a British officer through a loudspeaker van.
Sie, die Sie die Väter und Brüder der deutschen Jugend darstellen, sehen vor Ihren Augen einige der Söhne und Töchter, die einen kleinen Teil der direkten Verantwortlichkeit für diese Verbrechen tragen. Ein kleiner Teil nur und doch schwerer zu ertragen, als es der Menschenseele möglich ist. Aber wer trägt die wirkliche Verantwortung? Sie, die sie ihrem Führer erlaubt haben, diesen himmelschreienden Wahnsinn auszuführen. Sie, die sie sich über diese entarteten Triumphe nicht genug tun konnten. Sie, die von diesen Lagen gehört hatten, hatten zumindest
One might ask why all the inmates surviving were not removed out of the camp altogether to a large town, for example, where there would be feeding and housing facilities. The answer is simply the dread word typhus. A mobile bacteriological unit and all medical aid possible, together with 90 medical students from London hospitals, were rushed to the spot to deal with it. Lack of soap and water brought lice to the inmates, and lice carry typhus. To get rid of typhus, one must first get rid of lice. So contaminated patients were removed from their huts and put through a laundry process. DDT was dusted over them, and they were washed clean, wrapped in blankets, and removed in clean ambulances by teams working in relays in a miracle of relief work. Two miles away from the camp was found a large SS Panzer training school and hospital, well stocked with medical supplies. Strange that these should not have been used by the Germans for the inmates. Scores still died every day. They were too far gone, many of them, to digest any food, and there was a desperate shortage of nursing staff. Still, one could be thankful that they were not simply being left to rot away with neglect. There were children, too, in Belsen camp, though what crime they had committed was difficult to imagine. Most of them had been saved by the women inmates who gave up what little food they could get to the children. Meals for these children had always been few and far between. So they ate what food we gave them with infinite care. Nothing could be more dreadful now than to lose a piece of potato or a drop of soup. Clothes was another urgent problem, so an fitting department was set up, and clothes gathered from shops in the surrounding towns were soon being tried on and gossiped over, as women love to do. There was something symbolic about new clothes. New clothes meant renewed hope. They donned them with pride. Now he can look forward to growing up to useful manhood. There were more than 200 children under 12 years old found still alive in Belsen camp. To these children, clean, dry clothes and kind words from a stranger were strange, undreamed of, mysterious things. Some had been born behind the barbed wire. In what circumstances one dare not try to imagine. Where are their parents? Here, perhaps. Or here. Or down here in this pit.
Today is the 24th of April, 1945. My name is Gunnar Illingworth, and I live at Cheshire. I'm at present in Belsen camp, doing guard duty over the SS men. The things in this camp are beyond describing. When you actually see them for yourselves, you know what you're fighting for here. Pictures in the paper cannot describe it at all. The things they have committed, well, nobody would think they were human at all. We actually know now what has been going on in these camps. I know personally what I am fighting for.
I am the Reverend T.J. Stretch, attached as Padre to the formation controlling this camp. My home is at Fishguard. My parish was at Holy Trinity Church, Aberystwyth. I've been here 8 days, and never in my life have I seen such damnable ghastliness. This morning we buried over 5,000 bodies. We don't know who they are. Behind me you can see a pit which will contain another 5,000. There are 2 others like it in preparation. All these deaths have been caused by systematic starvation and typhus and disease, which have been spread because of the treatment meted out to these poor people by their SS guards and their SS chief.
We shall never know who they were, or from what homes they were torn. Whether they were Catholics, Lutherans, or Jews, we only know they were born, they suffered, and died in agony in Belsen camp. And so they lie, Jews, Lutherans, and Catholics, indistinguishable, cheek to cheek, in a common grave. The living have been taken to a cleaner place. The typhus-infected huts are set afire. Soon the fire will die. The smoke and ashes will drift away, and grass will cover the place. The barbed wire goes down. The striped livery goes with it. Do not imagine this was the only black spot that was uncovered in Germany. There were over 300 others. No German can say he did not know about them. The whole world had heard of Dachau, for it was publicized by the Nazis as a model camp ever since its inception way back in 1933. On the 28th of February of that year, the presidential emergency decree suspended the basic civil rights of the German people for an indeterminate period and so eliminated legal safeguards against arbitrary imprisonment. Here were 32,000 men of every European nationality, including 5,660 Germans. From the outside, one might, at a casual glance, have seen nothing remarkable or horrifying, but Dachau was crammed with 3 or 4 times the number it was designed for. Here, as at Belsen, men knew hunger. Men became weak. Men fell sick until they died where they lay on the floor. In Hut 30 alone, there is recorded, for example, 72 deaths within 24 hours. Every day the dead were taken from the huts. Here, as at Belsen, there were many who were too weak to be saved, too sick to eat. Typhus was taking its toll, and truckloads of wretchedness had to be somehow dealt with in the already overflowing hospitals. Dachau had its own brothel for the use of guards and favored prisoners. As the women died, they were replaced by a fresh contingent from the women's camp at Ravensbrück. This was not used as a bathhouse, but as a death chamber. Batches of prisoners were marched in here to die. When the chamber was full, the doors were shut and sealed. A man at the controls let in the poison gas, and another batch of helpless victims screamed their lives out beyond the grill. The gas chamber was conveniently placed next to the mortuary. And next to that was the crematorium. These great ovens were constructed exclusively for the burning of large numbers of corpses. In the last 3 months, official records show that 10,615 people were disposed of here. Their clothes were turned over to the Deutsche Textil- und Bekleidungswerke GmbH, a private corporation whose stockholders were SS officials, which reclaimed and repaired the garments with the use of unpaid prison labor, and then resold them to the camp clothing depot for the use of new prisoners. The prisoners arrived often in railway trucks, but there had been no hurry to unload this one. They went away, leaving the prisoners to die of hunger and cold and typhus. We found them like this, frozen stiff in the snow alongside a public road. By some miracle, 17 men were still alive. All the rest, about 3,000, were dead. Germans knew about Dachau, but did not care. In Buchenwald, there were about 80,000, of whom 34,000 were employed outside the camp in an armaments factory. During the first week of April, 25,000 were removed by the Germans to other camps because of the approach of the Allied forces. When the camp was liberated on April 13th, 20,000 inmates remained. African Negroes, Albanians, Austrians, Belgians, Brazilians, Bulgarians, Canadians, Chinese, Croats, Czechs, Danes, French, Germans, British, Greeks, Dutch, Italians, Yugoslavs, Latvians, Letts, Norwegians, Mexicans, Poles, Romanians, Spaniards, Swiss, Americans, and Russians. 55,000 of them died because of this place. People were tattooed across the belly with slave numbers and forced to work on starvation diet. People were coldly and systematically tortured. Here, Schoker, the camp commandant, said, "I want at least 600 Jewish deaths reported in the camp office every day." Thugs were appointed as overseers or block leaders. There was no efficient distribution of food. One prisoner collected the rations for 10 or 15 men. Hunger and hopelessness turned some of them into beasts. Sometimes a prisoner carrying rations back to the hut was waylaid and robbed by other prisoners. Sometimes he ate the best part of the food himself. Sometimes he sold it. Corruption was fostered, for it gave another excuse for killing. All this seemed so remote from humanity, so far beyond the behavior of man. British members of Parliament came and saw and were sick at heart. It had to be seen to be believed. German citizens were brought in from Weimar. They had to see, too, to see what they had been fighting for, and we had been fighting against. They came cheerfully, like sightseers to a chamber of horrors, for here indeed were some real horrors. If a prisoner had a curiously tattooed skin, it was taken from him. We can only hope he was dead when it was done. The skin was tanned and made into lampshades, etc. These shrunken heads belonged to 2 Polish prisoners who had escaped and been recaptured. Some of the visitors did not care for the sight and were assisted by ex-prisoners. Ebonsea is a holiday resort in the mountains. The air is clean and pure. It cures sickness, and there is sweetness about the place, a gentle peace. In this place, the Luftwaffe, or SS Panzer officer on leave, relaxes, eats well, breathes deeply, finds romance. Everything is charming and picturesque. But the concentration camp had become an integral part of the German economic system, so it was here too. They were able to see the mountains, but what use are mountains without food? Prisoners at Dachau and Buchenwald dreaded being sent here. To them, this place did not mean recuperation, only starvation, tuberculosis through slavery in an underground factory, and finally left to cough one's life out, unaided and crowded in the filth and stench of a hut, unfit for dogs, but for some reason called a hospital. The daily collection of corpses was disposed of through this chimney. Mauthausen. First used in 1938, this camp was the center of a group of subsidiary camps. 40,000 people had died here since the beginning of the year. Here, the gas chamber held 200 at a time, and the crematorium dealt with 300 per day, every day. Ludwigslust. In the north of Germany, it was the same story. The few who remained alive were staggering, on the verge of death. They were the survivors, and these were the rest, hurriedly murdered lest they be set free to live a normal life. The authorities in the camps took special measures to make sure that a man would neither live normally nor die normally. Neither should he sleep normally. He was surrounded by barbed wire, and he had to sleep on barbed wire. Ordruf. Here was carnage and desolation. prisoners had been dragged from the sacks of straw in the hovels called hospitals, shot and hastily disposed of by the first means to hand. There must have been some feeling of guilt, or presumably there would not have been an attempt to destroy the evidence. In the outskirts of Leipzig, an effort was made to prevent 300 forced workers in a factory from being set free by advancing Allied troops. 300 were locked in a mess hut and burned. This is where it stood. Some of the desperate, screaming prisoners broke out. Flamethrowers and machine guns were waiting to receive them. This was a woman. Some almost reached the barbed wire. Some got there and stayed there, for it was electrified. This was a Polish engineer. Gardelegen. American troops advancing did not know that in this barn the Germans had locked 1,800 prisoners and set burning straw alight to suffocate them. In the morning before retreating, they had poured petrol on the bodies in an attempt to burn what remained. It still smoldered when the American troops arrived. This man was shot because he gasped for air, trying to escape while the rest of him burned in the barn. Auschwitz. The most up-to-date institution was better equipped for killing. Transports of prisoners from all over occupied Europe were sent for extermination in one of the special Vernichtungslager. Here, 4 million people were murdered. As many men, women, and children as you could pack into a great city. The dead have been buried. It remains for us to care for these, the living. It remains for us to hope that Germans may help to mend what they have broken and cleanse what they have befouled. Thousands of German people were made to see for themselves, to bury the dead, to file past the victims. This was the end of the journey they had so confidently begun in 1933. 12 years? No, in terms of barbarity and brutality, they had traveled backwards for 12,000 years. Unless the world learns the lesson these pictures teach, night will fall. But by God's grace, we who live will learn.
Our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. Lead them straight and true, give strength to their arms.
First light, June 6, 1944. An armada of more than 5,000 Allied warships and landing craft moved to breach Hitler's Atlantic Wall in Normandy. Among the thousands of Allied troops that morning was the American director, George Stevens, who was in charge of the American Army's newsreel team. At the same time, Stevens was also taking these unique pictures for himself. Stevens had brought out from California a private stock of the new 16mm chrome, fitting images of remarkable color and clarity. By sunrise, the German coastal defenses were within range, and the campaign to liberate Europe had begun. A few hours after the main assault force, Stevens went ashore at the village of Bernières on Juno Beach. The people of Normandy were awakened to an historic announcement from the Allied Supreme Commander, General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
People of Western Europe, a landing was made this morning on the coast by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force. I have this message for all of you. Although the initial assault may not have been made in your own country, the hour of your liberation is approaching.
A tank crew that broke through a German minefield happily poses for the camera. Stevens' unit included an elite team of some 30 cameramen and directors, and they were free to cover the battlefield wherever the action was. It was this unique freedom of access which enabled Stevens to shoot what must rank as one of the most evocative home movies in history. These battered film cans contain the footage George Stevens shot during the Liberation Campaign. Buried in a Hollywood film archive for 40 years, it now constitutes the most important color record we have of the war in Europe, and none of it has ever been in public before. George Stevens died in 1975, but we were able to talk with some of the surviving members of his special photo coverage team. Here is director Holly Morse and cameraman Dick Kent and Ivan Muffet, the English-born scriptwriter. These cans contain the documentary that these men shot and wrote the campaign. Their story ends in Berlin. It begins one summer's evening in June 1944 when the unit pitched camp for the first time in Normandy.
And now, Captain Glenn Miller. Thank you, Lieutenant Dodd Briggs, and good evening, everybody. It's been a big week for our side. Over on the beaches of Normandy, our boys have fired the opening guns of the long-awaited drive to liberate the world. Now, to get to a little music, here are the boys with their rocket gun version of Flying Home.
George Stevens held the rank of lieutenant colonel. Before the war, he directed Swing Time, Gunga Din, and Woman of the Year. And after the war, he made A Place in the Sun, Shane, and Giant.
George is probably one of the best directors that I've ever seen or ever worked with. And George felt very strong about the war. He knew what his mission was. He knew what the war was about. And he was very dedicated to the best motion picture coverage of this tremendous event. We were all highly professional, and we'd all been in the motion picture business for some time, and we'd all made many, many motion pictures, and we felt a little more qualified than some of the Signal Corps cameramen. We had cameramen like Meller, who was an Academy Award winner, Joe Barack, who is currently filming all the great shows of today. We're all experts in our field.
The unit's camp was near the town of Carentan, midway between two American beaches, Utah and Omaha, which were pumping men and materiel onto the beachhead.
The overwhelming impression was of this extraordinary logistical power coming at thousands and thousands and thousands of ships and hundreds of thousands of tons of material being landed 24 hours a day, pouring inland through every lane, across every road in that beachhead. And it was a sight that you would never dreamt of ever seeing. I mean, if there is victory, which of course we assume there would be, this is what victory is going to be made of. These were truly the sinews of war. And one almost felt illogically that such things as regimental traditions, individual gallantry, elite brigades of soldiers, all that was hardly to be reckoned with against the scales of this amazing accumulation of stuff.
On the 4th of July, 1954, the unit was summoned to the Allied Army's headquarters in France. General Montgomery, Commander-in-Chief Allied Land Forces, was present, along with General R. Bradley, Commander of the American First Army. While George Stevens concentrated on newsreel coverage, he gave his camera to his agent, Bill Hamilton, who took these pictures. Among the commanders is George Patton, a flamboyant tank with his pearl-handled pistols. Privately, the generals worried about holding the narrow Normandy beachhead, but publicly, Montgomery radiated confidence.
The pace has been hot, and it was clear that someone would have to give ground sooner or later. It was equally clear that the Allied soldiers would see the thing through to the end and would never give up.
In reality, as Supreme Headquarters was well aware, Normandy had come a battle of attrition. In the first 12 weeks of the campaign, more than 50,000 Allied troops were killed, 150,000 wounded. The Germans had been hit even harder. German soldiers fought with dogged tenacity, and they sustained 250,000 casualties. It was a monstrous bloodbath. The Allies tried to break out using their overwhelming air superiority to smash the German positions. Unfortunately, the ancient towns and villages of Normandy were also smashed into rubble, and thousands of the French died at the moment of liberation. On the 25th of July, the film unit watched 2,500 Allied bombers fly over their camp. The objective, to destroy the German positions west of the town of Saint-Lô.
Wave after wave of bombers came in. They were dropping their bombs on one particular little place, Saint-Lô, and the concussion was just terrible. This went on for hours and hours, plane after plane.
Saint-Lô had been a picturesque ancient town famed for its medieval churches. 12 shattering Allied air raids destroyed the German garrison and also destroyed Saint-Lô. 800 of Saint-Lô's civilians were killed in a single Allied raid. In the final week of July, the German resistance began to break.
After the thing was over, after the bombing was over, we pushed forward, and you'd pick Germans out of foxholes and things like that who were just absolutely devastated by what had happened. They couldn't believe that, and they were just out of their minds. I'm sure it took a long time back to reality. The smell of death, I still smell once in a while at night. I wake up screaming in the middle of the night, and this is 1985, and that was 1944 that happened, and it still bears with you. It was so the devastation was so extreme that I'll never outlive it.
Thousands of prisoners were herded into makeshift camps. After 2 months of constant bombardment, the German fighting spirit had apparently been broken. By the end of August, more than 200,000 Germans had been rounded up. Truck columns jammed Normandy roads. The American Third Army, commanded by General Patton, then swung west to Brittany. The Special Coverage Unit went with them, leaving the base camp near Carentan, passing through Saint-Lô, and arrived on the 18th of August at the port of Saint-Malo. Some buildings were still on fire. The town had only been liberated the previous day after very heavy fighting. Outside the harbor on a tiny island, the German garrison refused to surrender. Despite the shooting, the Germans held for another 2 weeks. Stevens and his unit moved out of Brittany to join the Americans now racing east towards Paris through cheering, liberated villages.
From every village and county, from factory and farm, they stopped what they were doing when they saw the trouble brewing, and they heard the war's alarm. 8 million Yanks have rushed into the fray, and there's more on the way. There are Yanks from the banks of the Wabash. There are Yanks from the Arkansas plains, from the mountains of Montana, the bayous of Louisiana, and the moose country of Maine, of Maine. There are Yanks driving tanks for the Brenner, and as sure as the sun will shine, that's the Yanks from the banks of the Wabash will be Yanks.
Stevens and his men crossed the River Seine. On August 23rd, Eisenhower agreed to the Free French Army the honor of liberating Paris. Units of the French 2nd Armored Division, commanded by General Philippe Leclerc, began moving into the outskirts of the city. George Stevens saw an opportunity to record the crowning moment, the liberation of the French capital. In a field near Fontainebleau, he approached a Free French colonel and received permission to join them on their drive into the capital.
The atmosphere was sort of halfway between a carnival and a bullfight. All the purpose of the war seems to be coming true before your eyes. It's a rare moment for soldiers to experience from there.
The streets were lined with happy, happy people. Women, children, men, all out tight in the streets. Just enough room to allow our jeeps and vehicles to drive through. They were waving, they were kissing us. The women and the girls were jumping on board the jeeps and tanks and trucks to kiss the boys. And the ride into Paris through a gauntlet like that was just a very exciting thing to think that we were part of freeing the French people from this occupation by the Germans.
Stevens had barely set up his cameras when Leclerc arrived at the Montparnasse station with the commander of the German garrison, General Dietrich von Holtich. Against Hitler's orders, von Holtich surrendered Paris rather than see it destroyed by fighting. Outside, a crowd began to gather, and von Holtich said later he didn't expect to get out alive. The surrender ceremony took place inside the darkened station, but Stevens persuaded General Leclerc to bring von Holtich out into the street to record the scene.
BBC Home Service News, read by Rick Weltman. Paris has been liberated. A communique just received from General Koenig announces that it has been liberated by French forces of the interior.
Not every German soldier had heard of the surrender. Isolated groups of Germans continued firing.
I think I ended up under a Jeep. I don't know where Dick was, someplace else. But Stevens was standing alone out in front. And he said, he looked around, looked down at me and said, you can make any pictures from down there. This is where the action is. You didn't know whether you were going to get shot or whether you were going to get kissed. I don't know which. It was happening all about us.
To stop the shooting, captured German officers were dispatched across the city to spread word of the ceasefire. White flags provided protection to some extent. Ivan Muffet was detailed to escort one nervous German officer.
We drove off with some difficulty through the enormous, angry, ferocious, rejoicing crowd which was in the Place de Rennes below. And he was spat at, and we were all drenched in spit. And I had to sort of reassure him that he wasn't going to be sort of lynched or something.
General Charles de Gaulle, leader of France, stood tall, the symbol of eternal France. He said that this moment of liberation transcended our poor individual lives. While de Gaulle conferred with resistance leaders, the people of Paris celebrated, feeling not poor, not individual, but a joyous community of free people.
He was intoxicated, and one said at the time that no matter what would happen afterwards, nothing would ever exceed the emotional experience of the 20th of August, 1944, and nothing did.
Unless you've lived through it, just like the invasion, unless you've lived through it or been there, you can't imagine how the Allies were treated. And the French populace went crazy and had absolutely piling on and kissing you and carrying on, giving you a drink and come on over to the house and all this business. And you used to say, no, get off the Jeep, I have work to do. There were girls and more girls. I mean, they were all over the place. And how can I explain it to you? Let's put it honestly, you had to beat them off.
The Americans turned a Bailey Bridge upside down to serve as a reviewing stand. And General Omar Bradley invited General de Gaulle to take the salute at a victory parade down the Champs-Élysées. These are the men of the U.S. 28th Division. It was the first time in history that a fighting unit paraded through the center of the city and then went into immediate combat deployment to attack the enemy still outside the city gates. The American generals knew there was still heavy fighting ahead.
German resistance was collapsing all round, and quite aside from the exhilaration and the wonder of Paris itself, there was this marvelous feeling that the war was in fact over.